I want to start today with a scenario that is uh, practically physics 101. It's a
Mhm.
question of common sense, really.
Mm.
If I have a delicious double fudge chocolate cake, and let's be honest, that is a very real possibility in my life, and I hand that entire cake over to you, what happens?
Well, according to, the laws of physics and probably my local bakery, the result is I get a cake and you don't have a cake anymore. It's a simple transfer.
Exactly. I am now cakeless. It's a tragedy, really. But in the material world, possession is a zero-sum game. If I give it to you, my resource is gone. I have less, so you can have more.
Mm.
But today, we are diving into a source that looks at that exact scenario and says, actually, you've got that completely backwards.
It really is one of the most radical flips in logic we've ever covered. It's a total inversion.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling a giant. We are looking at A Course in Miracles. Now, for anyone who's seen this book on a shelf, it is. It's intimidating. It's huge. You've got the text, a workbook, a manual for teachers. It's a whole self-study curriculum.
And it's designed to completely dismantle the way we see reality. It's a heavy lift. It
Mhm.
uses Christian terminology, but it really functions as a psychological mind training.
Right?
And because it's so dense, our mission today is to zoom in on just one specific gear in this whole thought system. We are looking exclusively at this paradox of possession.
Which brings us back to the cake, because the claim the Course makes about giving just seems to violate the laws of nature.
It does. The specific concept we're looking at is the idea that giving and receiving are one in truth. And the part that's even harder for the mind to grasp,
Yeah.
you only keep what you give away.
Which, sounds like a riddle, like something you'd find in a fortune cookie. But you're telling me this isn't just poetry? There's a real logical system here.
It is incredibly logical, but you have to change the premise. If you stick to the laws of the physical world, the laws of cakes and coins, it makes zero sense. You lose the cake.
Hmm.
But the Course argues we're confused about what it is we're actually giving. It's shifting the whole economy from matter to mind.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Because my ego and my stomach are still thinking about that lost chocolate cake. If we're not talking about physical objects, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the world of ideas. But before we get there, we have to look at how we usually operate. Because, I think I know what generosity is. I think I know what it means to be a good person who shares.
Sure. Generosity, sacrifice.
Right.
That's what we're taught.
Yeah.
I have $10, you need 5, I give you 5. I'm now poorer, but I feel, noble about it.
Exactly. The source material, especially the manual for teachers, takes a really hard look at that definition. It argues that to the world, generosity is the same as giving up. It always implies sacrifice.
Right. I have less, so you can have more. It's a trade-off.
And that implies a limit, an insufficiency. I look at my bank account or my energy or my time, and I see a finite amount, a pie with only so many slices. And if I give you one, I'm depleting myself.
Mm-hmm.
The Course says that when we see giving that way, it inevitably creates one specific thing: guilt.
Guilt. That seems backwards, even if I'm the one doing the nice thing.
Especially then. Because deep down, if I believe I've lost something by giving it to you, I'm going to want something in return to, balance the ledger. The text calls these bargains made with guilt.
Wow. Bargains made with guilt.
Yeah.
That is a heavy phrase.
It is. Think about it. If I sacrifice for you, if I really feel like I've lost something, what creeps into the dynamic?
Expectation.
Precisely. It becomes a transaction. The text even calls it a loan with interest. We give something, but subconsciously we expect a return. Maybe it's a thank you. Maybe it's a favor next week. Maybe it's just you thinking I'm a saint. But if I don't get that return...
Oh, I feel cheated. I feel like I did all this for you, and this is how you treat me.
And that resentment is the proof that it wasn't a gift. It was a bargain. You were trying to buy something from them, their approval, their gratitude, and the payment bounced.
That hits home. We treat relationships like ledgers. I'm up 5 points, you're down 2. I got the check last time, so you better get it this time.
And if you don't, I feel diminished. That's the ego's version of giving. It's always about the fear of loss.
So how does the Curriculum slip this? If I'm not sacrificing and I'm not bargaining, what am I even doing?
The Manual for Teachers defines it this way: for a teacher of God, which is just their term for anyone practicing this, not some guru on a mountain.
Right?
Generosity is giving away in order to keep.
Giving away in order to keep. That's the paradox. Walk me through the mechanics of that.
Okay, the logic rests on one simple axiom. You cannot give what you do not have.
Fair enough. I can't give you a ride to the airport if I don't have a car.
Right. So the very act of giving something is the proof that you possess it. Now, apply this to things that aren't material. If I offer you patience or love or a sense of safety, what am I demonstrating to my own mind?
That you have patience and love and safety to give.
Exactly. The act of extending it reinforces its presence in you. If you think you're lacking love, the solution isn't to go out and try to get it from the world. The solution is to give it away.
Because by giving it, I prove to myself that my internal storehouse isn't empty after all.
Yes, it's a total reversal of cause and effect. We usually think, I'll give when I have enough. This says give, and you will realize you have enough.
This reminds me of that feeling when you cheer someone up. You're feeling a bit down, but you make the effort to encourage your friend, and somehow you end up feeling better than they do.
That is literally the mechanism Lesson 187 talks about. It says we have to distinguish between things and ideas. This is where the cake analogy finally dies.
The cake has served its purpose. Rest in peace, cake.
It had a good run. The text says that if you give a finite thing, the body's eyes see it as lost. But then it says, things but represent the thoughts that make them.
Things but represent the thoughts that make them.
Unpack that for me.
It means the object, the money, the gift. It's just a symbol of the intent. It's the wrapper. The real gift is the idea itself, the love, the helpfulness. And unlike objects, ideas, they expand when you share them.
Like a joke. Like a joke or knowledge. If I have a great idea and I share it with you, I don't lose the idea. Now we both have it. It's actually doubled.
Or teaching.
Mm.
I think the best way to really learn something is to try and teach it to someone else.
That's the perfect analogy.
To explain it, I have to structure it in my own mind. I understand it better by giving it away.
Yes. The Course leans on that heavily. It says, to learn that giving and receiving are the same has special usefulness. The teacher reinforces the lesson for themselves. The student gains, the teacher gains. Nobody loses. It's a collaborative expansion, not a transaction.
So when the workbook says, to give and to receive are one in truth, it's talking about this dynamic of ideas.
It is. It says, ideas must first belong to you before you give them. And when you give ideas away, you strengthen them in your own mind. So practically, if you want to feel more secure, you don't build a fortress. You offer safety to others. If you want to feel forgiven, you offer forgiveness.
Which brings us to the big one, forgiveness. You can't really talk about the Course without talking about forgiveness. It seems to be the practical application of this entire law.
It's the central mechanism, the engine of the whole system. But we have to be really careful here because the Course defines forgiveness in a way that is, it's almost the complete opposite of how the world defines it.
Yeah. Usually forgiveness is like, you did this terrible thing to me, you were guilty, but I'm going to be the bigger person and let it slide.
Right. It's condescending. I'm up here, you're down there, which the Course would argue is actually a form of attack.
An attack. That's intense.
Because you're keeping the sin real. You're saying the error really happened, you really hurt me, and I'm superior because I'm letting you off the hook. It just maintains the separation. It keeps the wall up. True forgiveness in the system is recognizing that the sin was an illusion, an error in perception. It's refusing to see the other person as guilty in the first place.
That is a heavy lift. It sounds incredibly hard to do. But how does that relate back to giving and receiving?
Well, there's a line in Lesson 126. All that I give is given to myself.
All that I give is given to myself.
Think about what happens physically and emotionally when you hold a grudge. A grievance is described as a dark shield of hate that you hold up in front of your own eyes.
That's a vivid image. So I'm holding this shield up to protect myself from you.
But what's the result? You can't see the light? You are stuck standing behind a heavy shield in the dark. Your own muscles are cramping from holding it up. Who is actually suffering?
I am. My arm is tired and I can't see anything. I'm trapped behind my own defense.
Exactly. You're the one carrying the burden. When you forgive, you aren't really doing it for them. You're putting down the shield so you can see again.
So forgiveness is basically the most self-interested thing you can do.
In the truest sense of self, yes. The text says, the answer that I give my brother is what I'm asking for. If I look at you and I see an enemy, I will feel unsafe. I will feel attacked.
Because I'm projecting that attack out, so I feel it coming back at me. It's like a mirror.
A perfect mirror. The world you see is just a witness to your state of mind. If I offer attack, I receive fear. If I offer peace, I receive peace. There's this exercise in Lesson 108 where you think of everyone, even people who annoy you, and you say, to everyone I offer peace of mind. To everyone I offer gentleness.
And the promise is that you get an exact return.
Yes. It says it will come to you in the amount in which you gave it. Because by offering it, you're activating that state of mind in yourself. You're creating the experience of gentleness in your own consciousness. You literally can't offer peace without feeling it first.
I love that because it takes the helplessness out of it. You aren't waiting for the world to be nice to you. You're not a victim. You generate the niceness by offering it.
Precisely. You become the generator of your own experience, and this leads to a fascinating point in the manual. It says, a teacher of God doesn't want anything they cannot give away.
Why? That sounds restrictive. Like I can't want a nice car or something.
It's not about the objects themselves, but the attachment. It sounds restricted to the ego, which loves to hoard, but the logic is, if you have something you can't give away, like a secret or a special status, it must be something that can be lost, which means you have to protect it.
And protection implies fear. If I have to lock it up, I'm afraid someone's going to take it.
Right. So the Course calls those things valueless. If I have to guard it, it's a burden, not an asset. It creates anxiety. The things of God, peace, love, joy, those only increase when they're shared. So those are the only things worth wanting.
But let's get real for a second about trust. I think a lot of us hesitate to give, whether it's love or help, because we worry, will they appreciate it? Will they waste it? Will they take advantage of me?
That's the number one barrier, and the manual is very firm on this. It says, it is the relinquishing of all concern about the gift that makes it truly given.
Relinquishing of all concern. So if I give it, and then I'm watching over your shoulder to see how you use it.
Then it's not giving. It's control. The text calls it imprisoning. You're trying to control them. You're still bargaining. I give you this advice, so you must follow it.
That's the loan with interest again. The interest is compliance.
Exactly. True giving requires trust. It asks, who gives a gift and then remains with it to be sure it is used as the giver deems appropriate. If you do that, you haven't actually given it, you've just rented it out. Which brings us to this beautiful image of a storehouse.
I remember this, the storehouse of treasures. It sounded almost mythological.
It's a great metaphor. It answers that question. What if I offer love and the person just throws it back in my face?
Which happens. You smile at someone, they scowl back.
It happens. But the Course says that when you offer a miracle, a shift in perception, a moment of love, it is never lost. Even if the person you offer it to isn't ready to receive it, the gift is held in a storehouse for them until they are.
So the energy isn't wasted. It doesn't just evaporate.
Never. And more importantly, and this is the key, the giver retains the benefit immediately. The exchange is completed the moment you give, regardless of when it's received.
That takes so much pressure off. I don't have to convince you to accept my forgiveness. I just have to offer it.
Correct. Your work is done in the offering. The receiving is inevitable.
Let's talk about that word miracle for a second, since the book is called A Course in Miracles. How does this define a miracle?
A miracle in the text is a correction, a shift in perception from fear to love. But specifically on our topic, Principle 9 says, miracles are a kind of exchange. They bring more love both to the giver and the receiver.
It corrects the error of scarcity.
Yes. The Course talks about the law of love versus the laws of the ego. The ego sees separate interests. If I win, you lose. It's a dog-eat-dog world. The spirit sees one interest.
One interest, meaning what's good for you has to be good for me.
Because we aren't actually separate. That's the metaphysical foundation of all of this. If we're really part of one mind, then giving to you is literally giving to myself. It's like your right hand and giving something to your left hand. You haven't lost anything.
So the ego is playing a game of separate and conquer, and the spirit is playing a game of unite and expand.
That's a great way to put it. Lesson 344 calls it the law of love, that what I give my brother is my gift to me. It's not a moral instruction. It's a statement of fact about how reality works in this system.
It really explains why being mean just feels so bad instantly. We think we're punishing them, but we just feel gross, small.
You're swallowing the poison you intended for them, and it explains why true altruism feels euphoric. You're recognizing your own abundance.
So if we strip away the cakes and the bank accounts, we're left with this economy of ideas. And in that economy, we only get rich when we spend everything we have.
Beautifully said. The text says, to give is how to recognize you have received.
So what does this mean for the listener today? How do we take this into traffic or the office?
I think the takeaway is to stop viewing your interactions as transactions. Stop looking for the return on investment in your relationships.
Stop trying to strike that bargain with guilt.
Right. Catch yourself doing it and just drop it. If you want more peace in your life, don't wait for the world to become peaceful. That's a long wait. Aggressively offer peace to everyone you meet.
Because by offering it, you prove to yourself that you have it, You keep what you give away.
And that's where true possession is, in the giving.
It's a total shift. Instead of protecting our little pile of stuff, we're extending our state of mind.
And that extension is what the Course calls creation.
I love that. It turns every interaction into an opportunity to refill your own tank.
Exactly. Burnout comes from trying to give what you don't think you have. But when you realize the source is infinite, giving is energizing.
Well, we have unpacked a lot, from cakes to miracles. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave the listener with one final thought to chew on.
There's a line in Lesson 141 that perfectly encapsulates this whole mystery. It says, "You will not recognize what you receive until you give it."
You will not recognize what you receive until you give it. That sounds backward.
Think about it. The implication is that you already have heaven's treasures: joy, invulnerability, complete safety, right now. But you don't know you have them. You're like a person sitting on a chest full of gold who thinks they're poor.
You're sitting on the treasure chest, begging for pennies.
Exactly. And the only way to open the chest, the only way to see what's inside, is to start giving the gold away. You have to act as if you are rich in love to realize that you are rich in love. You will never know the power of your own forgiveness until you offer it to someone you think doesn't deserve it.
So if you're feeling empty, give something away.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling unloved, offer love. You might just find out you were full all along.
That's the promise.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.